Part of the Chautauqua Book Club, the big brown building here. Behind me over here, this big White House here, this is the Hall of Missions. And as you look underneath the pine trees right here, that's the Hall of Philosophy. The floor in there is all mosaic tile.
Oh, wow.
And they have a lot of summer weddings there.
Ah, it's a cool spot.
I've been doing this personally 9 years, 8 years, something like that. Wife and I come up one year in the summertime, and we're down by the lake where we're going to go. We're walking along, and here comes a skateboard past us, and I know the woman was 75 years old on a skateboard, just trucking right past us. This house behind us right here on the corner. Whoa. This house right here on the corner with a cover on the front of it, that's the most photographed house in the Institute. There used to be pictures in the bookstore or postcards that had that for all the gingerbread that's on the front of this house right here on the corner. You can't see any of it. And that was one of the reasons when the wife and I come up in the summer, we stop to look at that house. I mean, it's an absolutely gorgeous little step. Tied them up this morning when I went over and fed them. I tied them up. 2 hours later, I went over and put a harness on them. They were standing in the barn, still 2 inches of snow on their backs. That's how well they're insulated. This house right here on the corner, the Octagon building. That was built, it's just 8-sided building is all it is. Whoa. It was built, the story is, by the first graduating class from the book club. The second graduating class built the house behind it, and finally somebody said, we got to do something about this, and they built the big alumni hall that's right here on the left, and that's the oldest continuous running book club in the world. Behind us is a Hall of Philosophy. The pillars, can't see them real well. Move up a little bit to be able to see them. They're down there, the pillars. That's where lectures and weddings are held through the summer. The Institute, the season in the Institute, 9 weeks is what the season is. This church we're coming up on, it's on our right, it's going to be on the left after we turn the corner. The architect designed the Hall of Justice in Washington, D.C. Whoa. Whoa, you can't see it real well. There's a little red door church, that white church there, that pickup sitting in it kind of, but that's a gorgeous little church. And a few years ago, we had a guy up here when we were doing Sleigh rally. There was a guy from Kodak who was retired and was taking pictures. 2 weeks later, he come up and handed my wife a picture, great big picture. He says, do you know this gentleman? She says, I do. It was hanging over his fireplace. In fact, he passed away last year, and it was at his funeral home, and it's still over his fireplace. It was a gorgeous picture. And it couldn't have been of a nicer fella. He'd done rides, whoops! He'd done rides up here we've done them for, I think, 26 or 27 years, and he'd done them every year. Easy. Hey, walk. The golf course, straight across 394, the golf course, Amelia Earhart supposedly landed her airplane over there. Amelia Earhart, yeah. I don't know if she's buried in the snow, lost in the Institute or what, but you know. All the construction done in the Institute has to be done in the winter. Cannot do anything through the season.
You'll see that little plate on that tree right there? That used to be a $50 donation to the institution. You could have your name on it and put on any tree. There's not many of them left. Now they try to sell you a brick back at the amphitheater for $1,000. This is... Hi. Good, you? Oh. This little red door here behind me is an Episcopal church. It's the smallest one here. Total capacity is about 35 to 40 people. And if you're here during the summer and it's a nice sunshiny day and you think you hear thunder, you don't have to run for cover. What it is, you go down through this path. It's a bridge that leads across the gorge, and it's all loose planks. So when the kids either run their bikes across it or run across it, it sounds like thunder.
The Institute, when they plow, they usually plow and try to keep from sanding, basically for us so we can run bobs if we can. And this is the first time this year we've been able to. Down here in the way a little bit. They rebuilt that bridge about 15 years ago. And when they rebuilt it, the neighbors around here said they want it built the same way as it was. All the planks on the top are grooved, they're loose. And when the kids, it's called Thunder Bridge. When the kids ride their bicycles over, it thunders. And no, we're not taking the horses over it. Kids have been making snow angels here. Well, I don't know if they were kids or not, but they were kid at heart anyways. This house here on the right, the tan one with the shutters. See the shutters on them? The V and the X? Roman numerals. Murphy's 5 and dime store was the people that started to build that house. And at one time, the ball diamond straight down ahead, at one time a fellow that lived in that house told the kids, home plate, you hit a ball, break one of my windows, I have a $100 bill for you. It never paid it, but I'll bet them kids tried. Yep. It's either firecrackers or kids smoking, they don't know which, but they replaced them with metal, so. Behind me is the girls' club. In front of us here on the right is the boys' club. Of course, the girls always got to be a little better and a little fancier. Walk. Look.
We pulled the runners off these today because there's too much ice.
Yeah.
About 10 years ago, the lady was sitting on that back corner, and we came around this corner, and it was all ice. And it took off, and I couldn't stop it. And a jackknife and brought that corner right up to the nose of the horse.
Really?
Yeah. If there's packed snow, we're all right. But there's just a little too much ice up on the top. There's more snow down here, though.
Walk. Walk.
Yeah, we farm with them and cut firewood, get a few logs. Expensive hobby,
Yeah.
but what hobby isn't? But it's a quiet hobby. You can go out and be by yourself.
Yeah.
We plow with them. I farm with them in the summertime. Yeah, I've got a unit that I can hook onto anything in the tractor can hook onto. It's run by a gasoline motor, and the horses pull it. So I can use a hay bind. We picked corn with him last year with 3 horses. A corn picker and a gravity wagon and everything. Whoa. Whoa. This green and yellow building, that's the girls' club. The boys' club is the tan building down by the lake. It's a daycare center for kids K through 12. They offer arts and crafts, boating, and swimming. Straight across, the green building over there, that's the baseball field. That used to be a wooden structure. One year in July 4th, kids were in there with fireworks, got away from them, and burned it to the ground.
Oh no.
This green bridge, this leads across to the Saver Gym. That's where the first game of basketball was supposed to be played in Chautauqua County. Straight ahead of me, that's the Yak Club. That's where the kids are too old to go to the Boys and Girls Club. That's where they hang out in the summertime. Easy. 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 Whoa. Whoa. This little beach here is known as Heinz Beach, and the Heinz Fitness Center is underneath it after the Heinz family of Pittsburgh. You can see across the lake at the bottom, the big building, that's Midway Park. That's their roller skating rink.
It's across there.
Yep. If we were to go up this road here on my left, the house on the right and the house on the left are both owned by the Heinz family.
Usually come down there a little faster when we got wheels on. Runners, if they catch to the side when I'm turning the corner, we might get wet. There's Chautauqua Lake if you can see it. Anybody know what Chautauqua Lake's named after? Well,